lot.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Pirro, probably who that is, but I'm not sure. But she's been. Oh, Mary Scott. Oh, perfect.
Okay, I feel like we've been wanting to do a podcast on that anyway.
Which one?
Mary.
Oh yeah, that's
Haven't
true.
we?
That's true. I think we go down the list.
You think we do all of them?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah, these are good questions.
Awesome.
Good morning.
Hey. Everyone, drop your name if you are watching. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We are feeling good today. We had a great day.
G-O-D. See the
around me. I'm feeling good. That's us. That's right.
Okay.
We had a great day yesterday. Just ready to hit it.
Yeah.
We got some good questions this morning from 4 people. And I'm just like super thankful for I feel like people put a lot of thought in these questions.
Yes.
They're very good.
Yes.
Carrie, this is such a good time to answer this first one that we're about to answer because you are how many weeks pregnant at this point?
My gosh, what's today? Tuesday? 37?
Oh,
tomorrow.
My gosh.
Today, tomorrow.
I gotta say, Kat is the most non-pregnant person I've ever met in my life. Like nothing has phased her, or at least you don't talk about being phased. Not sick, not tired, no pregnant brain. Body feels good, mind feels good. Praise the Lord. You're sleeping, right? Are you sleeping?
Yeah, not my best sleep of my life, but
right.
good sleep.
It's so good. And Mary, oh hey Mary. Oh, good, Barry. I'm so glad. Yeah, our podcast that just came out. It was the launch one, right, Nat? The launch debrief.
Oh,
It was
cool.
It was $198,000 launch without a special strategy. And
Meaning
it just
like
felt really
funnel marketing. Am I on? I feel. Oh, it's going to YouTube, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Funnel ads. Things that just we have totally had fun with and enjoyed, but just tried something different. And that's what we mean.
It was really fun to kind of debrief. We really pulled the curtain back and showed behind the scenes. So definitely go listen to that episode. It was a good one. The Guide to Culture podcast. Okay, so Mary asked, she is prepping for maternity leave.
Yes.
And she wants to make sure she's not losing leadership touch with the team. I just love the way she said that.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership touch. Mm-hmm. Outside out of mind is a real thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
And momentum's a real thing. And the energy from the leader is
really important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now there's definitely a time to not really be connected in the sense where you are like fully present with your newborn baby in like all the ways you possibly can. You're focusing on human things, right? You're focusing on getting your sleep, getting a shower, eating the right food, drinking enough water, and keeping your baby fed. That is what you need to be focused on for a good amount of time, for sure. But there is definitely an element of wanting to stay connected with your people. And it's also good for you, just as a new mom, to stay connected and have your heart be kind of filled up.
So
do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, it's so funny. It's just like in less than a year, you had Rush, and then this is happening. It's really weird how fast life happened.
Yeah.
What I can speak to specifically with Macy having Rush, I just felt like, even though he came early and he was born on, it's not his birthday, it's actually launch day, is what we call his birthday.
Yeah.
And it was the cool thing about pregnancy is that like it's so long that you can prepare.
Right.
And so it didn't feel like anything was missing. I mean, of course it felt like something was missing, but not in the sense that it was discouraging. In fact, I think that when the team is prepared, I think Mary Scott has a network marketing team. And so this team, like, to really rally around one mission while like the same mission while she's gone, to serve people in however capacity, whatever capacity and mission y'all are on, to really sell that. And for you not to be the one, I mean, yes, you're the one people look to, but at the same time, like, what is fueling the tribe per se, which is what like Start With Why is about, what Tribes is about, those 2 books. And I just think that's why selling a mission ahead of time is so important, so that when the kind of urgent things happen, like babies or you step out for whatever reason, the tribe is still going and it's still fueled by something.
Yeah.
And I know you talk about selling one mission all the time. Of course, there's some practical elements to being prepared too, but I just think she's kind of more worried about the like emotion of it all.
Yeah.
Or if that makes
Mary, in network marketing, right?
Yeah.
One thing that could be really cool also is just empowering leaders on your team. And giving them the chance to like be in the spotlight. And honestly, Mary, one of the best things you could do is like if some person is leading a call, you just like being on the call. Like, I don't know if you even have to have your camera on, but just seeing your name and just seeing that you're present. You're not in charge of anything. You're not owning anything. You're not following through with anything, but you are there cheering people on. I think that's one of the best things you can do. And then just send like a specific compliment to that person who led a call or led a charge and just say, hey, like, the way I saw you lead them shows me like where you're going. And I'm so excited to watch you. Like, that's that individual leadership touch points. I think it's almost more powerful than thinking about staying in touch with the whole team.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. So empowering people this is a perfect time to do that. And people also, side note, people love to feel needed and love to kind of like do favors. I think there was some study when you ask somebody, hey, can you do me a favor? They're like more likely to do it. They just enjoy that. So you're really doing them a favor by asking them to step up and lead.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Good question. All right, which one next? Okay.
Ines. What would you advise mindset-wise if you have never launched something and have a fear of failure?
The word launch is so heavy.
Yes.
That is like, when I see that word, I get you being like, I'm so nervous. Like, if you think about launch, it's like a rocket. Like, this rocket needs to make it into space. And it feels like a massive deal if it doesn't make it to space.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not that intense. That's like the first. I totally get like feeling that way. So I think that we can help you have some mindset shifts. Wanting to kind of put something out there. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, we're just listening to this podcast this morning about really looking at wins and losses. I mean, we talk about this a lot with Daily Deposit, but this random podcast was also talking about wins and losses, and just like this idea of failure. I hate to sound so like this, but it really is something that you decide if it's a failure or not. Like, did you get a result that you can actually like move forward from? And I know that's hard because so often a launch is like what you put, like, you know, some of your quarterly revenue into and like all this kind of stuff. I know this person in particular who asked this is equipped with sales skills. So I know that you can sell even outside of a launch.
Yeah.
And so that's a whole kind of different conversation. But as far as like having the fear of failure, one of the things that will fuel your launch more than anything that we've experienced this, we've seen it, is your excitement and belief around it. It could be like the most imperfect, weird, bumpy funnel ever. But if you're excited about the product and the people can feel what you're doing, I think Ina helps moms who are like on like year-long maternity leaves or go to the workforce or something.
Yes, there's someone else that does. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, or maybe she's a violinist. I don't know. She does something cool. Anyway, just being really freaking enthusiastic and excited is what's going to like magnetize people to it. And then I can't even see how that can end up being a failure.
For sure. I like how you said you decide if it's a failure or not. Sometimes honestly, like you deciding if something quote goes wrong, like you learn so much more from that than you would if something going right. You say like the biggest like threat to success is success.
Yeah.
Because you don't know like what to adjust if things are always going right, so to speak, and how you could be better. But, you know, I would just encourage you to not think about it as a launch, but to think about helping one person. And you know exactly how to do that because, like Kat said, equipped with sales skills. Literally, like, I'm going to walk with one person to get from point A to point B. That right there, you're going to learn more walking hand in hand with somebody than you would launching to like 20 people and like not touching them, right? And just slowly building over time. Like, do one person right for a cohort or for a season, and then get 2, and then 3, and then 4, slowly build. And that's going to feel so much more doable. And I think you're going to be really excited about it more than launching something in general.
And possibly like all this kind of put together when you follow a launch schedule, which is what, you know, marketing strategists maybe is that what who would help you with this? They are a way because they've worked for people. Like, there's no doubt that there's like a launch system that works, blah blah blah. The problem with following a system sometimes is that you take away that one-to-one heart, that enthusiasm that really fueled you to do what you're doing anyway. And it can become kind of mechanic and robotic.
Yeah.
And people, that's what I'm saying, like, get excited, do it weird, do it bumpy.
Yeah.
Because no one cares.
Right.
Like, no one cares how clean your funnel is. No one cares how like exciting or expensive the launch is, they just want to be helped. And if you like, I would say do whatever it takes to go be with those people. If you have to go do 100 free calls, if you have to like, you know, just what do you have to do to make sure that those one people feel so seen and helped? It's just so fulfilling. And like I said, people can feel it, and that's really all that matters. Like all of your customers are people, all of your like all of your followers, everyone's people. And I think a launch can kind of take away the feeling of peopleness.
For sure.
Anyway, you're not a failure, and you're not going to fail because you are a winner and you decided in advance that something really good is going to come of this, and you know how to make sales.
So period. Good. That's the number one thing. That's so good. I love it. I will have to follow up with you on that too. Just encourage you privately. Okay. Malika says, should a person pay debt before investing in personal development? It's a great question.
This comes up a lot.
It does. It's such a teeter-totter. Now, I'm no financial advisor at all. Everyone needs to feel great about what they do. But it's like sometimes, and you're saying before investing in personal development. So that is like the detail that I want to know is like what personal development, you know, because there are certain personal developments that could be the very thing. It could be the very thing to get out of debt. I remember like my dad talking about this, like he just always has mentality like, okay, I could adjust like our lifestyle and just like live how we want to live, or I can adjust how much money I make so that our lifestyle can be what we want it to be. And when he says lifestyle, he means like the tennis lessons. We're not talking like going to the Bahamas. We're talking about like being able to have the private lesson, being able to like be on the team, being able to like go to dinner if we like need to go to dinner. And he just always had the mindset of like, I'm going to like make more money so my kids can go take tennis lessons instead of saying like, you know. And what's so cool is that with sales skills, it's so clear on how to do that. So that's why like I can't give you like specific advice, but what I can tell you is an investment sometimes is like the very thing that gets you where you need to go.
Yeah.
I know Grant Cardone, I mean, he says cash is trash. And one of because he invests it basically, but he talks about how he was on a call with this guy, and the guy was like, how much cash do you have right now? And the guy was like, you know, a couple million or whatever to invest. He's like, you need to give it all. You need to invest it all. And the guy was like, well, that makes me stressed out. I don't want to do that. I want to have some security. He said, that's like the very thing that you need to do in order to get to your next level, because you're so secure. You're so comfortable. You're so like, just in your zone that you don't even have a reason to hit the gas. And so like Grant Cardone, he's like, I drop my bank to like zero every month. And he's partially, like he's an ex-drug addict, so like this is his new like addiction. Right. You know what I'm saying a little bit? But like there's something to that of like, man, like my back is against the wall. I have to make this work. And sometimes an investment can help you do that. But it just depends on your comfort level and kind of where you're at. What do you think?
Yeah, there's just something to be said for putting like chips in on yourself, of course, right? Like investing. And just the power of that. I mean, it's funny because debt, like there's a ton of details there, and then there's a ton of details needed for personal development too.
I know.
Because the thing about debt is like, is it debt from going to Target a bunch? And like maybe you need to get out of some bad habits. I don't know with stuff. Or like, is it just, I don't know, your car? I'm not really sure.
Right.
But anyway, I think that Macy's right, that being able to decide that you're the kind of person who invests and can make more money, because of course money has like a ton of emotional ties to it naturally, and so being able to almost like detach from like it being like a part of your worth to being something that you can just regenerate. There's like a ton of money in the world, and there's a ton of people who you need to help. So at the end of the day, I think about something like guide culture being $38.97. I'm like, dang, like that is so little compared to the amount that people can like create. Which is really exciting.
Yeah. I noticed that like I do feel like the more sales experience that I get, the more likely I'm to invest bigger because I know exactly how to go make more money. And I think our students are the same way and you're the same way. Like we know exactly what to do, even if it doesn't work, which I could go off on that. But the thing about an investment, whether it's $100 or it's $100,000, a lot of times like the little things that you learn is so worth it. And it shows up so much later in your life. So just when you're in this situation of like investing, does it work? Does it not? Like you got to get your mindset right about money and about investing and you like showing up fully for the investment. But and I also think it's a great point of like what kind of debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also just occurred to me that she might this probably isn't what she meant, but like take out debt for an investment.
Oh.
It's probably not what she meant, but like put like an investment on a credit card to pay it off. And honestly, it's just a personal decision. But like I said, it depends because like we've heard from a lot of people, hey, like I did not get my investment back. And I mean, on the one hand, it's like there's no one to blame there.
Right.
Like I'm not about to go blame a business coach
right.
that they didn't get their investment back.
Right.
Because like you said, there's always something to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Always. And really just stopping at nothing to always be improving. Like if you're having the same type of sales conversations over and over and over, it's like what needs to break in the system? Like so that I see like this is where I need to evolve. For example, like things. I mean, gosh, we do so many things poorly that we're like, we have got to like employ help.
Oh yeah. 100%,
oh my gosh.
100%.
Like all the time. And it's just so worth it to like learn the principles and learn the skills that you can like become better because as a lot of people who are pro investment say is you are your greatest asset. Like equip your mind, equip your like yourself, your team with what they need to go be more successful than they are now. Just really cool.
Yeah. I would also encourage you just to see yourself as somebody that it's just a non-negotiable. It's just what you do. It's just you invest in yourself. You know,
yeah.
Like we talk about our in-person training. We're just like, hey, just put it on your calendar, put it in your budget. It's just a non-negotiable. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
And that's what our people do. And they sign up and they come. It's just part of who they are. I think just having that identity is just something to eventually embody.
I always forget about this, but I just remembered. So 2018 was when I first got sales skills in guide culture. Guide culture at the time for me is what I paid $700. Okay. And this was like the second round ever. Okay. So it's still like in beta mode, basically.
It really was.
Big time. Yeah. And 2019. Okay. So like 3 months later, I don't know who inspired me to do this or what, but I sat down with Carl, we had never talked about investment. I had barely started reading books. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I had just gotten a daily deposit. It's January of 2019. And I'm like, I would like a personal development budget this year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I want to have a budget to invest in myself. And it was fine. We just had to decide on a number, but it was like, and I think it was like either 2,500 or 5,000 or something.
Yeah.
Those two. And it's a little bit like, oh my gosh, like this is really gonna, but it's, my point is a pre-decision thing. You're making the decision ahead of time. It's a matter of like, okay, now what's my best decision on who and what I'm going to learn, who I'm going to learn from, what I'm going to learn. But just deciding in advance that it's a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And I think a budget is a really good way to do that just because so many times it like becomes this big conversation about like the money. And I totally get that because having your money in the right hands and in the right places is important. It's really a matter of, hey, I'm already someone who's growing. I just need to know who I'm going to invest with. And there was a few people that I talked to like in that way with guide culture, and they made such quicker decisions, much more confident and swift decisions. When they're like, hey, I'm going to invest. It's just a matter of like, what do I want to learn? So decide in advance.
Yeah, for
sure. I know that wasn't even the question, but
that's really good. Oh, Milka, there she is.
Hey, Milka.
Okay. Last question. Hope that was helpful, Milka. How do you say this name? Bate?
Well, it looks like a business. So Batea Boutique, maybe?
Duh. Okay.
This is a good question.
Would guide culture work for an architect? They said after checking YouTube, it seems like more women focused. Loy was here.
I know.
He would have a fit in the best way.
Yeah, for sure.
Gosh, I get that. Like,
does this mean that architects are men?
All I know is that when we did this space, we had an architect come and she was a woman and she was boss.
And then one of the
We've
first.
had an architect take guide courses. She took it.
She did. Yeah.
Nadine. Her name is Nadine. Yeah.
So I feel like what they're asking is, would it work for a man? Because she's saying it seems more women.
But Battea Boutique sounds like a.
I know it might be. It might be for a husband.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what's so crazy about the internet is you kind of subconsciously just like attract who you are.
Yeah,
it just is natural. It's human nature to want to feel like things are familiar to you.
You know, there's a study that's like the person you marry. There's some percentage. There's like a psychological effect or something where, oh my gosh, what is it called? Where you look like your spouse.
Yeah.
It's like science and it's creepy, but it's because you're comfortable with
familiar.
how, it's familiar. So it's similar with businesses too, especially totally. Online when it's so like visual and pictures and video and all that.
For sure. So of course, like naturally with us leading the charge in terms of marketing and sales, like we're naturally going to attract more women. It is not woman focused at all. In fact, that is the very thing that we were incredibly adamant about when it came to like the colors, the fonts, like niching, that it was not woman focused. This is a life thing. This is a people thing. If Loy were here, he would say,
who's the founder of the material?
He's the founder. He's the creator of the material. Mm-hmm. He would say, men need this more than ever. Men need this more than ever. Being the leaders of the family, leading their family spiritually, emotionally, financially. This is like the most important skill men need. It just happens to be that we are the leaders of the faces. We've had men take it. In fact, we've had a men's only in-person training. I know that we've had like an owner of a company, and he bring his team or part of his sales team come on, and so they'll like be in the same lab group. So we kind of orchestrate things where men are together if they need to be, but also if not. So it's definitely not woman focused at all. It just happens to be our people typically. Yeah. So, but would guide culture work for an architect? Do you ever work with people is my question for you, because this is people skills. So I know like when our architect came to look at the space, like she was selling herself. She was saying, hey, like I can be the one that can draw what needs to be drawn and make it happen. And so her skills were the most important in that moment to make sure we choose her, because she was back to back to back. We had like 3 people come in to say, hey, which architect do we want to use? Which one is the most creative? Which one is the best price? Which one can get it done the quickest? Like, and also who do we just like vibe with the most? So you are selling yourself as an architect. Also, I know, how many like contractors are you working with? How many other people are you communicating with to move the needle, especially in something like building where like there are so many hands that things need to get through? And I know that I'm like you ultimately are selling to your customer to be happy, and you want to be recommended, and you want them to sing your praises and say, hey, this is the best architect, and all of that takes sales and communication skills.
Amen.
You got anything on that?
No, I mean, it's just, I think about how important an architect's job is. I mean, they're really building someone's dream in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
I know one of our students, Michelle 1L, I miss her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Michelle 1L, she works for architects and does tile. So, like, if an apartment building is getting built or renovated, it's like she sends the materials for the countertops, the tile, the whatever, everything, and like the beautiful stuff, right? The jewelry. And so working with architects, I have a new appreciation for how much detail, how many people they touch to make the project come to life. It is not a joke in any way. And so I'm like, gosh, like there's so much on the line for the customer, the people around them, to make this one big, huge thing come to fruition, truly like a building, right? Like you're building something. Yeah. So I can actually think of there's a lot of jobs that are important for sales. I think they all are. Yeah. But this one, it truly is. Yeah. Just make sure everyone's like on the same team too. Because I think when it comes to building, especially, you think about today's supply issues, like to be able to get on the same team as someone, right, and to be able to actually, it still increase the value of what you do and help someone see that, come to agreement on it. I feel like both parties are happy. Another story, someone was sitting right here at the in-person and she's a realtor, but she's helping her friend build a house. Like she's the realtor for the new build, right? Yeah. And this customer is so upset that it's taking so long. Yeah. And I guess an architect deal with a similar situation. Yeah. And so she has to keep selling her client that like it's going to be okay. She has to keep casting the vision, keep her like in the positive frame of mind that she's on the same team, and helping her decide that she's on the same team as this art, contractor team, everything. And so it's just so many important sales that you make.
And do you know how many situations are like that? And they just pull the plug and say, never mind. It's taking too long. I'm just going to buy a house that's already built. And so that person would need to sell them on saying, hey, it's going to be worth the wait.
Absolutely.
It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait. And that's sales skills. It's a beautiful example.
And what were we just talking about? I guess on our academy call yesterday, we were talking about how just even if like sales sometimes can come off like, okay, well, what's the script? Like, what is the words I want to say? And that is definitely helpful. It's definitely gets you over the 1 yard line, we like to say, the 1%. But 99% of it is coming with the mindset that I am like the leader of this. I'm the salesperson. I'm the counselor that helps guide them into the right mindset, into the right decision, into like moving in the direction that they want. That is all sales is in our mind, is guiding them to where they need to be. And for a lot of like this one story of saying this lady's like building her dream home in her neighborhood next to her best friend, and she's like about to pull the plug. She's so frustrated, but she can stay sold because someone had sales skills to guide her.
Wow.
So it just matters a freaking ton. And it's not just about the words you say, it's about the posture you walk in with. In fact, they say that like that's like the I forget the words, just the posture. Okay. The posture, the mindset that you walk in with things is what makes the sale. Like you are the one that gives the confidence to the other person. So
that's why we love to say being the salesperson. Be with the right posture.
Be do have, baby.
So good.
Yep.
That's a really good explanation. I would love if you Tay Boutique, if you're watching this, message us on Instagram. We'd love to hear more about who you're talking to more specifically, if it's you, if it's your spouse, at The Guide Culture on Instagram.
Yep.
Cool. These are good questions.
Yeah, really good. I mean, submit. This is 4. We could probably get through 5 questions.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Submit them. Anything, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. You can message them to us at The Guide Culture on Instagram, and they will go on our list, and we will answer them on Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
Thanks so much for watching, fam. We'll see you next week, and have an awesome rest of your day.
Bye.